Hey VC, how's it going? I just watched Fred's 1984 video, great list, so I thought I'd show you my choice of 10. First one, Purple Rain Prince. Obviously everybody knows this, it's one of the biggest albums of that particular year. Soundtrack to the film. I love the film. It's cheesy, the dialogue's terrible, but the music sequences are fantastic. So yeah, much more focused record than his previous record, 1999, which had those long drawn out tracks. It's a great album, but these are, apart from the title track, short 3-4 minute pop songs basically. I think 9-track album, of which 5 tracks were released as singles. When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, Take Me With You, I'll Die For You, and obviously Purple Rain. So great record. Originally was going to be a double album, was going to be similar to what the Graffiti Bridge soundtrack album was like, with the other bands performing in the film to be on the album as well. So it would have had tracks from The Time and Apollonia 6, but that was then squeezed down to this single album, which it obviously benefits for. That's the problem with Graffiti Bridge, is apart from obviously the material not being as good, it doesn't particularly fit together that well. You just feel a bit disjointed with the different artists on there. So, but yeah, this is a great record. Not his best album of the 80s, for me, not in his top 3 albums of the 80s. So, but more about that later in this run of videos. Right, okay. Second, this is the Smiths' debut album. Wonderful record from start to finish. I think, to be perfectly honest, the 4 Smiths studio albums, any one of them could feature in these 1980s lists. They're all fantastic. For me, see the single "This Charming Man" is one of my favourite records, full stop. But apart from that, stuff like "Reel Around the Fountain," Still Ill, Hand in Glove, what difference does it make? Brilliant. Yeah, everybody knows this. So Smith's debut. Okay. Cafe Blur by the Star Council. This is I love this record. It's a bit of a strange listen though, particularly, I mean, at the time when it came out in 1984, the Jam had just split up the previous year. The Star Council put out a few singles prior to this coming out, but I don't think anybody would quite prepare, certainly former Jam fans, for what was to come on this album. Half of it is instrumental. I think there's the 5 or 6 jazz instrumentals on this record. Of the tracks with vocals, 2 of them Paul Weller doesn't sing on. You've got Tracy Thorn singing on one. The other one's is a rap actually, so that was another guest rapper on that. And of the 2 singles that released off the album, You're the Best Thing and My Ever Changing Moods, the version of My Ever Changing Moods on this record is a solo vocal with piano rather than the full band version. So it's quite a strange listen. I'm pretty sure it wasn't what anybody was expecting. I think this is the equivalent of releasing Metal Machine music, to be perfectly honest, but I think it probably went down about as well. But yeah, the reason why I like it is because it sounds like somebody who's just getting into music, really, so I'm pretty sure that in the couple of years prior to this, somebody has given Paul Weller a shitload of jazz records and he's just thoroughly absorbed it, as he did with the latter Jam period with soul music, stuff like Tank or Malice. It's got that Martha Reeves thing running all the way through it. It's the same principle with this, with the jazz influence. But interesting album, not to everybody's taste, but yeah, I love it. Okay. Julian Cope, Fried. Julian Cope is one of those great English eccentrics, whether it be his music with a Teardrop Explodes or his solo stuff, always interesting, as are his books, of course. I mean, a great writer, obviously written definitive books on both krautrock and Japanese rock music as well as his modern antiquarian books and megalithic European. Yeah, a fascinating bloke. This album, let's say 1984. I mean, the first track says it all. Reynard the Fox. If you don't know what Julian Cope's all about, just check out that tune. I mean, it's that sort of crazy psych thing he's got going on. Yeah, brilliant. other singles on this. Sunspots was obviously a big single as well. So yeah, and what a great sleeve. Right, okay. I've shown a few live albums in this list, so 1984 is no different. Talking Heads Stop Making Sense. Many people will know this album anyway. I think most of the Talking Heads albums have been shown in various lists, whether it be the 70s or the early 80s one so far. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a great live film, but I mean, particularly for the opening track, the solo version of Psycho Killer, it's worth it for that alone. But yeah, great album. Okay, the Orange Juice. This is their final album, I believe. Yeah, I was actually going to show their Rip It Up album in the 1983 list until I realised that it came out in November '82. So that's why I didn't show that one previously. But yeah, this is I mean, an awful cover. How 80s is that cover? But yeah, a nice record. Singles off this, Lean Period, What Presents. You know, great stuff. I'm a big Edwyn Collins fan. I love his solo stuff as well. As many of you will know, he had a double brain hemorrhage probably about 10-12 years ago now. And after a long period of recuperation, he started making music again. If you haven't read it or you don't know about it, check out his partner's book, Grace Maxwell. It's called The Possibilities Are Endless. And it's all about his recovery, and it's a fascinating read. I saw him on his tour before he suffered his illness. You know, and he's so eloquent, jumping on the tables at the gig. You know, he's at the Glee Club in Birmingham, so entertaining. And I saw him on his first tour following his illness as well. Probably one of the most emotional gigs I've been to. You know, he had to be helped out onto the stage. He couldn't walk unaided, and he went to the microphone, and he couldn't even say his name or just say hello to the crowd. He couldn't get his words out. Obviously the stroke sort of greatly affected his speech. However, when the music started, he sang every word, and he sounded just like Edwyn Collins. You know, exactly the same voice, great presence still. But yeah, just an incredible situation really. But yeah, and he's still making great music now. So yeah, I wanted to show this, the Orange Juice. Okay, Lloyd Cole and the Commotions. This is their debut, Rattlesnakes. Obviously, many of you will know Lloyd Cole's stuff. This is yeah, I really like this debut album. Some big singles on this, stuff like Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken, Forest Fire. Obviously, Rattlesnakes. Again, for me, one of the great tunes of the '80s. Rattlesnakes. I mean, this album really set the blueprint then for what what the Commotions can continue to do over the next couple of albums, albeit not as well. I think this is yeah, a great debut album. Lloyd Cole stuff can be a bit patchy. I saw him live a couple of years ago, just on his own, an acoustic show. And although some of the songs off this sounded good, stuff like particularly Rattlesnakes, the song, just didn't come across without the full band sound. But I'd like to see him again, but with a band. But yeah, lovely album. Okay, a few more. The Long Riders, Native Sons. I've shown a Long Riders record previously. They say early '80s, that sort of Birdsian, sort of jungly guitar pop. Yeah, lovely songs, great album. All their records are worth checking out, but I think this is their best. Okay, the final Specials album, the Specials, aka in the studio. By this point, obviously, it was pretty much just Jerry Dammers. Terry Hall and the other members of the Funboy 3 had left, obviously, to do their thing. Not so much of a ska feel on this record. The sound has moved on a little bit. The big tune on this is obviously Nelson Mandela, which is it's a soul song in effect, and it's a real dancer. Also stuff like Racist Friend and What I Like Most About You Is Your Girlfriend. That's one of my wife's favourite songs, actually. So yeah, great record. So I think I've shown this previously in the video. I only picked this copy up last year, but yeah, great stuff. And finally, Fred showed this, but the reason I want to show this is because I only picked this up last weekend. I've been listening to their first two records quite a lot over the last few weeks, and I've never owned Treasure before. This is the Cocteau Twins. Yeah, I was in Northern Ireland last weekend and picked this up from a record shop there. So for the last 7 days, this is what I've been listening to pretty much solidly. But yeah, great Cocktail Twins album. Glad to pick it up. Right, that's my 10. Cheers.